and Moms TV, it's Sheila Lynn and welcome to my channel. Today I will be sharing with you the earliest pregnancy symptoms I experienced during the 2-week wait, even before I missed my period. So basically, after ovulation, after intercourse, we have to wait for around 2 weeks before we can pee on a stick or use a home pregnancy test kit to check if we successfully got pregnant, right? Some moms just wait for their period, which is on the average 2 weeks after ovulation. If it comes, you're not pregnant. If you miss it, you might be pregnant. And that's usually the time we pee on a stick, 2 weeks after, So in my case, while I was waiting for 2 weeks, I was so impatient and excited, so I did a ton of research to find out if there was any way to know if I was already indeed pregnant. In fact, although I knew it would come out negative, I even used a home pregnancy test kit 11 days post-ovulation because I was that excited and nervous and impatient, and well, it was negative. Still, I listened to my body very keenly, just in case. Maybe I will be able to tell if I was already pregnant during the 2-week wait, and I experienced some symptoms very similar to what other moms experienced as well during their 2-week wait, which actually meant that they were pregnant. And here are those symptoms that I experienced. By the way, I track my period every month using the Flow app, and I have a 28 to 31 day cycle, so my period regularly comes every month, which also means that the app more or less accurately predicts my ovulation day. For this cycle, or for that cycle, the app says my ovulation was on October 13th of 2020. 5 days post-ovulation, and of course, intercourse had already occurred by that time. My boobs were very painful. I was still breastfeeding at that time, so it was very easy to tell that they were more sensitive than usual. Like, it was so uncomfortable to touch, and if I bumped into anything, they were excruciating. And still 5 days post-ovulation, this is a bit TMI, but I had some very thick, creamy discharge from down there, like very noticeably different from the usual. I was also feeling warm, like even if I was in an air-conditioned room, my body was so warm, almost like I was having a fever. And it wasn't helping that I was also having colds. 8 days post-ovulation, I'm not sure if I was having cravings, but I wanted to eat a lot that day. And that was also the day I felt slightly nauseated. I did throw up though, but it was kind of the nausea I felt during my first pregnancy that made me throw up. My boobs were also very painful and tender this day, and everything was smelling weird. Like, my sense of smell was super heightened, and I was extra sensitive to anything, even my unscented skincare products. 9 days post-ovulation, same as the previous day, I was extra sensitive to smell. I felt like I was smelling something metallic all the time, and it bothered me. It didn't make me feel nauseated anymore, but it was really annoying that day. 11 days post-ovulation, this was the day I peed on a stick and it tested negative, but my boobs were still very painful that day, so I wasn't very discouraged. I didn't lose hope. This was also when I was sneezing non-stop for like an hour in the evening before bedtime for no reason. I was just sneezing and sneezing and sneezing. So I was thinking it was pregnancy rhinitis. And actually, looking back, now that my pregnancy is confirmed, I guess at 11 days post-ovulation, I really had a pregnancy rhinitis attack. In fact, I ended up having it almost all throughout my 3rd and 4th month of pregnancy. Not fun. 12 days post-ovulation, I tested again. It was a very faint positive. My boobs were still hurting, and I was still always very hungry, although I didn't have specific cravings. I just felt like I was constantly hungry, even if I had just eaten. Like, right after a meal, I'm still hungry. 13 days post-ovulation, I tested again. Okay, please don't judge me about how often I tested. I was just really excited. So at 13 days post-ovulation, it was still a faint positive. This was the day I started peeing more frequently, and there was an instance when I suddenly stood up and I felt like there was a very sharp tug, like a short cramp at the left side of my pelvis. Not sure if it was implantation, but it was quite out of the ordinary. Like, it's not something I would normally feel. And still, I was constantly hungry. I kept looking for something to eat at odd times of the day. In fact, I never eat after dinner, but that day I asked my husband to cook some Korean ramen for me right before bedtime. Quite late, actually. It was already 11 p.m. 14 days post-ovulation, surprisingly, I tested with a different pregnancy test kit brand and it came out negative. I got a little nervous, so I left it in the bathroom for a while and it became very faint positive after 2 hours. I know that isn't supposed to be reliable anymore, so yeah, it's been 2 hours in the bathroom, so it's not reliable. But I wanted to believe that I was pregnant and that it was just a bad brand. Because it was my first time using that brand, maybe it's not as sensitive as the one I kept using. For symptoms that day, I was peeing frequently and I had quite a lot of thick and creamy discharge. 15 days post-ovulation, I tested using the same brand again because I bought several of it and it gave me a negative again, but like the previous day, I left it in the bathroom and it became a very faint positive later on. Good news is I was supposed to get my period this day, but I didn't. So yeah, and for other symptoms, I felt a bit nauseous at midnight for no reason. Like, I was already about to sleep and it was quite uncomfortable, but I didn't throw up. 16 days post-ovulation, this was the day I did the breast milk on a pregnancy test kit experiment. If you haven't seen that video, I will link it right here or in the description box below. The pregnancy test kit I used this time was another brand again, a more reliable one, and it gave me quite a dark positive. I would say almost like a BFP. So I peed on the pregnancy test kit and it was already a dark red line. And I also noticed that my boobs were still painful. Like, it never went away. 17 days post-ovulation, I did not test this day anymore. I guess I ran out of pregnancy test kits, but I noticed some cramping in my lower abdomen or like my pelvic area. I was thinking it could be right ligament pain, but it might be too early for that. But yes, I felt tugging like a cramp and my boobs were still painful. 3 weeks post-ovulation, I was already 1 week delayed. My period was already 1 week delayed and I don't think I was ever 1 week delayed ever in my life. So this is a really good and possibly a confirmatory sign. 22 days post-ovulation, the next day was the very first day I felt a little bulge like right here, even if I wasn't supposed to yet. So maybe I was imagining it or maybe I was just overeating, but I felt like my lower abdomen was harder or like more tender than usual. And since I was already more than a week delayed and I already got BFP, I was kind of 95% certain that I was pregnant. So I stopped monitoring my symptoms daily and I just waited for my first prenatal check. If you also feel similar symptoms as I did during my 2-week wait, go ahead and share them below. I would love to read about your experiences, especially because I was in the same boat months ago. During my 2-week wait, I was so anxious and excited and nervous. I was on the internet looking for conversations with moms and moms-to-be who were equally anxious, and the YouTube comment section and the forums I found on Google really helped a lot in making me feel like I was not alone. If you want to know the symptoms I felt for the rest of my first trimester, just click on this link or check the description box below. I also made a video for that. And then make sure to subscribe to my channel so you could follow my motherhood journey and we can be virtual mommy friends. Once again, this is Rishi Lilin and thanks for watching.